Every situation is different, so I can't tell you specifically what would work for you in your personal situation. But what I can do is share with you the most common forms of business and why you might choose one over the other, and then you can decide for yourself. Sound good? The simplest form of business is a sole proprietor. You work under your own business name, or you can have fun and create a business name. This is a DBA, or doing business as. Income or losses are just reported on your personal tax return at the end of the year, and you would pay self-employment tax and income taxes on any profit. This makes sense, especially when you first get started, when you're not worried about legal liability and you're not really quite sure what amount you're going to make or what your profit is going to be for the year. So really, this is a great place to start. Another very common form of business is a limited liability company, or an LLC. An LLC really just provides some legal protection. If there are more members, it's a great way to decide who's going to be doing what and have some more business structure. But if you're just a sole member of an LLC, it really is the same as being a sole proprietor when it comes to income tax. The only real difference would be that legal liability protection. So if that's important to you, an LLC would make sense for you. If you aren't at the point where you're really making a lot of money, or you're even taking a loss, then you might want to just stick with a sole proprietor before really getting into the extra work of an LLC. However, if you have an LLC and you are making profit, there is something called an S corporation tax election, which we'll talk about in just a minute, that could actually save you a significant amount of money in taxes. An LLC doesn't actually pay taxes. They file a tax return, but the LLC itself passes all income and expenses, all that net profit gets passed on to the owner of the LLC, and everything is reported on their personal tax return, which is why it's very similar to being a sole proprietor in the tax sense. Another very common form of business is a corporation. A corporation is different from an LLC in that, yes, it files a tax return, it offers some legal liability protection, but it actually is treated like a separate entity from the individual. So the corporation actually does pay tax on any profit. If there are distributions to the owner then pays income tax on those distributions. This is often considered a form of double taxation. But there is a plus. Just like the LLC, there is something called an S corporation tax election that could help you save if you are a small business owner. So let's talk about the S corporation. An S corporation isn't actually a corporation. An S corporation is a tax election set up by the IRS. You have to file with the IRS requesting the election. Some states also require it as well, so make sure you check with your state. The main benefit of this is something that is part of the requirement. The requirement is that you have to pay yourself a normal salary. A normal salary meaning if you were to go to work for someone else doing the same type of work, what would you get paid? So you'll pay your employment taxes and you'll pay your income tax. The benefit comes from when your profit is more than what your salary is, you do not have to pay that 15.3% of income tax. You would pay income tax, but you save the 15.3% in employment taxes. Huge savings. S corporations actually have a lot of other benefits as well, similar to corporations in general. So definitely something that I will cover in a future video. So how do you know which business form to choose for you? What makes the most sense? Some things to consider, which we've already discussed. Do you need legal protection from your personal assets? Are you going to make a profit this year? Is your profit going to be more than a normal wage working for someone else? There could be some tax advantages to choosing different types of business forms. So please, if you have any questions, I love to help new business owners. It's just a passion of mine, something I get very excited about when people get going. You can email me at jennifer@dreamitbuilditliveit.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic business journey. Take care.